This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
You know how sometimes the first play of the game can be a real tone setter?
Aussie.
Yeah, I basically just went with Ashton Jen Teabag.
NFL.
He's not a walking 7 for 70 as I learned last week when he went 1 for 5.
Fantasy.
I'd probably lean towards taking Henry maybe ahead of McCaffrey just because of what I've seen.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Loading.
Australia's premier NFL fantasy football show is back. For the Aussie Gridiron Network, this is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. It is the Sunday show, which brings me great pleasure then to bring back in only Australia's finest fantasy analyst, and fresh off what he thinks is going to be a clean sweep of the tipping point this week, Taylor Goodall. Welcome back, mate.
Matty C, it's still week 24, and the people want more. Let's go!
Let's go, mate. And they want more tipping point. I'm getting told it's sweeping the country, mate. This the TV show version of this coming second to Taylor's tipping point on our podcast. How about that?
Hey, sweeping the nation. Let's hope I sweep the world this week.
You need to, mate. You're trailing.
Fuck those guys. You're not ever trailing. It's not the end of the year, mate. I'm coming back. We all know it.
Nah, good thing it's like a 15-week season. You got plenty of time. Representing the world and trying to press home a big advantage there. Mate, we've had this fellow through a couple of times through last year, and you had to have caught him on the Friday show. You're doing life all wrong if you haven't caught Brendan back there, where we put him through the 5 questions. He actually got to take Taylor on the tipping point, and we even went through a bunch of breakouts. Brendo, welcome back, mate.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back. Hopefully, I can do the world do the world proud
on this sunny or rainy Sunday.
Mate, I bet it's rainy. I used to hear from a bloke named Dr. Goodcall who lived in an area near you that it just fucking rains there all the time. There's just all kinds of strange phenomena happen in your part of the world, mate.
That name's like Voldemort around. I'm not allowed to say
it. He used to bring the touchdown guarantee, mate. We've brought that back. Can't we bring back other elements? Is it all Ixnay on the Ud call, eh?
Yeah, we're trying to basically forget that guy ever happened. So we need to move on. We need to change the graphics.
Yeah, okay. Bring back the public defender, by the way. We miss him. Just in terms of old segments that we don't do anymore. Fellas, we have got a bit to do today. We went through a whole bunch of great stuff on the Friday show. Of course, it was a great Seattle versus Arizona game on the Thursday night. Now we're into the serious, the meat and potatoes of the week. And week 4, big one. We had a lot of injuries last week. It's going to make things pretty interesting when it comes to the mailbag and also how we approach starts of the week, because it's going to impact a whole bunch of players' start percentages, especially in this late part of the week now that waivers ran, and got a little bit more idea on who's healthy and who's not. Hey, Tay, you ready to dive into that mailbag? I've got a few good ones for you.
Let's do it.
Surely you must have questions.
Please reach out to us.
When Tay and I get asked about fantasy advice, we are not backwards about coming forwards at any stage.
Get your question read live on the show.
If you've got a mailbag question, or if you're really keen to just get on the show, we'll make it work.
At Aussie NFL Fantasy on Facebook and Instagram.
Brendo, you got to do the mailbag with us last time, round 2, I think, and I feel like you got a lot of enjoyment out of getting to help Joe Public out there with your fantasy football knowledge, mate.
Well, I mean, if you put a microphone in front of me, I will speak. So that's a given. I don't know how much I gave back to the public, but yeah, I will talk. I'll keep it going.
Well, mate, I'm going to need your help on the first one. It comes from. Here we go. At Malik Waivers, having a tough time. Is Caleb Williams an every week start from here? I'm trying to fill the Burrow.
I would like to see him do it 2 weeks in a row. Would be my thing. I think he's got the weapons around him. He's got a coach that's been proven to be able to do it, as in scheme well. So it's just getting that together. I think it was always going to be a slower start, being that he's got to have learn a second regime in his second year. So it's a lot to put on. So it was always going to be a slower start. So I think you're going to need a couple more weeks, but he will definitely, towards the end of the year, I think he will end up being towards that more pointy end, around that sort of, not pointy end, sorry, around that sort of that 8-9 cohort, which is a startable quarterback. Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's sitting at like quarterback 2 on the season. That's how great he can be at the quarterback position early in the season. But I still think he's a matchup play. I will say that, if you're sitting there with Burrow and you're looking for like a replacement and Caleb's there, he's obviously going to be better than all the waiver, pickups that are around him. So if he actually was on a waiver wire, I would pick him up for sure. So if that's who you're comparing him to, then yes. But is he an every week guaranteed starter in a league? I need to see it against another team. He gets the Raiders, not exactly an amazing defense either. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had a decent week this week as well. But I'm not going to just stand here and just guarantee Caleb's turned everything around just because he beat up on possibly the shittest defense ever to, fucking stand on an NFL field ever in the Cowboys. So, yeah, I would like to see it one more time. But if he is there on waivers, I'm definitely picking him up.
Having a look down, he gets the Raiders, then a bye, right? So this week it's a spot start because then the next week he's not around. But after he gets at Washington, New Orleans, Baltimore, Cincinnati, New York. That gets you to week 10. Is anyone in there terrifying?
No, it's fine. Baltimore can be worrying, but generally teams score pretty well against them because they're getting scoreboard pressure on the other end. So Baltimore ends up susceptible in fantasy points to the wide receiver and the quarterback because of that. I'd have no issue in playing with him or playing him in any of those games.
He's had no less than 18 fantasy points in all 3 starts this year. So, maybe I'm probably one of the oldest fuddy-duddies on this where I've kind of not been big on Caleb. So maybe it's time to believe. So hopefully that helps Malik waivers. Next one is from at Courts Ward. How about this? Mate, we know Courtney.
My boy, Court, he normally sends me a lot of DMs about different questions, and obviously been a fan of this podcast and been on last year. So shout out, Courtney. I hope you got a good question for us, mate.
Mate, it is a cracking question. And I'm going to come to you first, Dave, because and this is one he legitimately come to me, so I'm assuming he's come to you one as well. Would you rather run Marvin Harrison Jr. or Scatterbo in your flex this week?
Yeah, he messaged me that, and I said Scatterbo easily. Until I see Marv just put anything together, it is crazy in a way, like given the ADP, but you got to throw ADP away at this point. It's based on what you see.
Yeah, that's what we used to know.
Scatterbo just proved what he can do with even 60% of the role. He's going to get basically 100. I know we'll see some Singletary. He's not going to get 100%, but yeah, I think Scatterbo is going to be the lead back, and the guy basically looks like he eats crayons for fun. So I think he's not going to be scared of anything. And I'd be starting Scatterbo over Marv until I see a little bit more out of Marv for sure.
I mean, Brendan, you got any shares of Scatterbo? Do you feel good about it?
I don't have any. I missed out on getting some shares of him, but I think Taylor's right. Yeah, I think
just one.
I think Taylor's right on this one. You start him I would start him over that, as we sort of mentioned. He's going to be the featured back. It's just a bit of a sprinkle, but he's going to be the featured back. It's going to be. I believe it's going to be Jackson Dart's first start as well. So they're going to have to lean. Starting. Yeah, so they're probably going to want to lean on, sort of trying to get the old, play the numbers game, trying to get in those manageable third downs so he doesn't have to stretch the field too much to start off with and those type of things, which then they lean on that run game. So I think, you would start Scatterbo, and it's a shame that Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't seemed to have panned out to be the sort of the freak that he was projected to be.
Yeah, kind of seems like the big time's gone a bit spooked. He was outside the top 40 at wide receiver last year, and we immediately went and reinstalled him again as a pretty clear top 20 wide receiver in draft season, and it's been tough for him. And I tell you, I said the same. I'm just like, mate, Scatterboo hasn't hurt me yet.
I mean, if you ran at him, he'd hurt you. But, right now, he hasn't done anything.
My heart's still solid. It's in one piece with Scatterboo, but MJH, he's set that fucking thing on fire a couple of times. Good on you, Courtney. I love that he keeps coming with the questions. He's a real fucking legend, and I can't wait to have him back on the show later this year. Last one comes from Alasdair, and it's Alasdair with about 4 R's on the end, because I'm sure you need that when Alistair It's spelled with a D to start with. But anyhow, Alasdair wants to know if you can believe in Hunter Henry again after the recent jump in targets. Tay, you believe in Hunter Henry?
Alistair, go back to the Breakout show on Friday, sir. Mate, doing yourself a disservice for not hearing that yet. Yeah, mate, I do believe. I just think he's got a connection to Drake May already. Obviously, in the tight end position, you don't need a lot to sort of break out. But I've picked him up in a couple of waivers already this week. And, I do actually think it's real. I think Hunter Henry's going to be pretty legitimate this year. I just don't think this connection's going away, and I don't really think there's a wide receiver that's all of a sudden going to just like break out too much that's going to stop Hunter Henry in his volume at the moment. So, I'm pretty keen on him this year, mate. So, yeah, Alasdair, I'd start him with some confidence.
I mean, what do you make of pass-catching options at New England, Brendan? Do you believe?
Well, I think there's no wide receiver that's really taking that room by the scruff of the neck and trying to say, like, put their stamp on it to lead the way. So until that actually happens, it's kind of like similar to sort of the old Arizona situation we kind of were just sort of touching on the end of Friday show, where that's where they're going to go through. And I'm pretty certain, I haven't actually called him yet to make sure this is correct, but I don't think they're going to rely too much on their running backs to hold on to the ball too much after last week. So they're going to have to get those yards somewhere else. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they sort of come out with. But I think I think just wide receiver rooms, just no one has stood up yet to say, that's the main point. No one stood up to say that, yeah, pass me the ball, I'm your guy. They've had flashes of a couple of guys here and there, but nothing special.
Hands like a digital clock, fucking Ramondre. and Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, but then it's like, I've seen this one getting around about Henderson has changed his name from Travion to Put Me On Henderson. Like he's just, why are they giving him the ball more? Anyway, the situation in New England, I like this. I trust Hunter Henry as well. So, I'm pretty confident that you could throw him in there as your ongoing tight end one in a 10-team league, should you need. Fellas, thank you so much. That's the mailbag done. It is time for just the biggest segment. This is something that only our show does, and only our show has done for the last 4 years on this great brown land. It's time for Starts of the Week.
Born in the heart of the earth, shaped by fire, wind, and time itself, this trophy is no mere prize. It is an artifact of legend, passed through the hands of kings and conquerors, scholars, and sages. Its worth measured not in gold, but in the wisdom it bestows. Now it rests with us, the chosen stewards, entrusted to guard its legacy. Only he who offers the truest insight, the boldest foresight, shall lift it high and claim his place among the immortals. This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show, Starts of the Week.
Say, I don't even want to talk about it. Last week, you were the first person who ever cracked triple figures in Starts of the Week. We've got a new scoring system, which sort of helps. We've got a fifth round, which sort of helps. But nonetheless, you're the first. I'm going to clear space. Do your dance.
Yeah, look, I've already spoken 2 days ago about Caleb. I think it was multiple times. And then it's just because I had him in so many different segments. It was just like basically recapping them all. Just basically ended in me just like, ectoplasming everywhere about Caleb and my call about him last week. So, yeah, it obviously worked out amazing. 4 touchdowns, no picks. He just sort of ran amok against this Dallas team. And this is literally what I based my entire call on, was just the defense and how shitty it was. And it worked out perfectly. So it got me off, obviously, to a pretty amazing start. Obviously, I waited till the end of the draft and took my boy Keenan Allen as my captain, which was actually not going great for a long, long time. And then all of a sudden, just what ended up happening in that game is, and this is why I've often said to people, especially newbies on like the Supercoach podcast, is a game script is king in NFL fantasy. And when they were up 14-7 or 14-10 or whatever, I was worried because Keenan wasn't involved. And I'm like, are they going to run the ball and stuff in the second half? But then all of a sudden, Denver got themselves in front. I'm like, that's actually awesome because it means they can row in this second half. Then you saw Keenan Allen. It was like one main drive where he just did basically everything in the fourth quarter and end up with a great game as my captain. Obviously, Ricky Pearsall was a big hit as well. Took him. He was sort of stagnating around that 46% last week, and I took him because I thought there was a good chance that Jennings might miss. And I even said that I'd be fine with him even if he didn't. So, you know, it was a great week for those three specifically. They kind of did the heavy lifting. I didn't really get a huge amount out of the other two. John Johnson wasn't too bad, sat around the 10-point mark, so he wasn't like amazing, but he didn't kill me either. I'll be honest, I can't even remember. Who the fuck was my running back? It was someone shit.
Brickhand Stevenson.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's why I know. Moving on.
Bucket of arseholes. Moving on. 4.6 from him, although it could have been negative 4.6, and that would have been... you still would have more than trebled my score, mate. In fact, Keenan Allen outscored my entire team. I had the... So Zach Charbonnet ends up not going because they wanted to give him the rest before they played the Sunday Night Football. So, he ended up not going, and that hurt me. Michael Penix also forgot how to football. So I was left to Jalen Waddle, Zach Ertz, and Wan'Dale Robinson to carry my hopes. And Wan'Dale, one catch ain't going to get it done when you're my captain, mate. We end up with 34 points, and it's an embarrassing low watermark for this segment this year after Beto only threw up 35 the week before. And I'm glad I didn't give him too much shit about that because I'm wearing a lot of egg now. Cam, how about Cam's team, by the way? And firstly, it was so great to have Cam on. It was a lot of fun. I said to him after the show too, mate, you do well with your own show. He was well researched. He brought a lot of great opinion. And if you haven't caught Cam, you can find him at fantasyfootball_down under with an A. Go and find him. He's fantastic. His team was Dan Jones, who goes and throws up just a neat 16. For a guy who only throws one touchdown a week, he does a lot of other stuff to score some points. He got a touchdown and not a heap more, but that's enough to get 10 out of Bill Crosby Merritt. And then he gets 14.9 out of Quentin Johnson, a solid 8 out of Kyle Pitts. But then the captain's Cam Scatterboo, and part of the reason he does this because he's an Arizona guy. He lived in Arizona for 25 years. Arizona State is where Cam Scatterboo goes. He's seen him. He loves him. Scatterboo goes and throws up 24.1, so you double that. Makes 48.2 points. That is the current season high watermark for one player's contribution to a start of the week team. Goes and throws up 96.92 for the segment. Tay, that would have won the week if it wasn't for your 103.52. Unbelievable. And it means that now in terms of the segment scores, Tay, you've got 8 competition points for the year with your 2 wins plus the second place from week 1. The world team had a first place. They also had a last place last week, and then the week just gone came in second. And mate, I've got 2 gentlemen's lasts and a second, so that's how we look. 8 points to Taylor, 6 to the world, and I'm at the bottom with 4 points, and that's where we stand coming into week 4, starts the week. Now, Brendan, it's incumbent on you, my friend, to put up a pretty good performance here for the world. Make sure you keep me in last place as the... Guys, though, you and I said this in previous years that we really probably actually need to be working together to try and make life hard for Taylor. But it's harder to do this year because that captain thing changes everything. Are you prepared for this?
I'm going to give it a red hot crack, but yes. Yeah. I've not been a big fan of the SUPERCOACH stuff, so the captain stuff is a new wrinkle, and I like how you guys make it your final pick. So there's obviously a little bit of gameplay to figure out, trying to go early or late on something. So yeah. I think it's going to be interesting.
Okay, this whole thing is like Taylor completely dodged a bullet by me taking Wan'Dale Robinson from him last week, so we can go and throw Keenan Allen in as his captain. That would have changed the segment somewhat, but mate, this is the thing. This is the impact that your captain can have. Tay, you clearly won last week's segment. It gives you a little bit of benefit. What are you going to do with this benefit where you get to choose the draft order this week? Who are you putting where?
All right, I'm going to put Brendo first. I'm going to put myself in the middle because it's actually the only position I haven't gone from yet. And I want to show some diversity, I guess. And then I'm going to put Matty C at the arsehole end. So he gets the first shot at the captain, obviously. But
my first go down there.
Yeah, I just figured that's all it came down to. I didn't really feel like there was super gamesmanship with it this week, and I just felt like I would change it up as much as I could. I think that's the I think that's the only order we haven't actually been in.
Yeah. Yeah, and what he's saying here, Brendan, is he's so comfortable with his cushy fucking lead. It's like, don't even care. You guys can't overtake me this week, so, I'll fucking do what I want. And it's just the ultimate disrespect move. Don't you feel that? I'm pissed.
That was a video recording of me, by the way. That wasn't Matty C doing my voice.
It was uncanny. I could not tell the difference. I was like, what's Taylor going on about right now?
He's actually trying to get you to stop being pissed at him. Look, he's changing the subject to take away from the venom, the anger, and the intensity of 1,000 suns that we need to have against him here, Brendan. Come on, you focus.
So we got to pull something out. We do. So the way this is going to work is we're going to go a snake in that order for the first 4 rounds, and the 5th round is just going to mirror the 4th round, which means, Brendan, you're going to get the first pick, but it means you'll also get last shot at captain. But clock is on, and is your opportunity to pick your favourite player from guys who are owned and then started in less than 50% of leagues. There's been a lot of fluctuation this week. We're going to do our best to try and bear with it. What do you got, brother? Who are you going with first of all, and why? 48 is probably too much, isn't it? Yeah.
Depending on who it is. Like, throw it out there.
Yeah, I'll just ask.
Drake May.
I have him on my list.
He's trending up. Tay?
Because he's up 2%. He's at 48 at the moment that I'm looking at.
He's trending up, but it's like from 40
it's a trickle.
to 48. It's like, I don't know. I just, like, if we wake up and he's 52, I don't really give a fuck, honestly.
I don't think it's going to change the world. I think this is the kind of guy that this segment's made for.
Yeah, there's a few quarterbacks in the 40 range that I kind of feel like they're all fine. Like, I don't feel like they're all of a sudden getting started in 80. Like, I just think they're always sort of still questionable. Like, I got no issue with that. Like, yeah, I got no problem.
So I'd say my vote is he'd be available to you if you want to take him.
Okay, so I'm going to go lock up the quarterback position with the number 1 pick, and I'm going to go with Drake May for New England versus Carolina.
New England.
Yeah.
Week 2, I call Drake May out as my breakout for 25 plus points. He goes and throws up 26.1, so we know he can do it. And he then followed up last week with a pretty good game as well. A couple of passing touchdowns to Hunter Henry. We love that. So lock that one in. Drake May, pick 1. Brendan, lovely job. Going to pivot to current starts of the week champion through 3 weeks. What do you got to say? Where are you headed, mate?
Yeah, I've got one that I feel like it's probably going to get ruled out. I was just going to throw out Cam Scatterboot.
No. That's 100%. As we were getting ready for the segment, I'm like, Tay's going to throw one out. I'm just going to say no because I knew who it fucking was. And you know why? It's because yesterday he was at 25%. Today he was at 45%. And by the time we get to starting, the trajectory is a little too high. But Tay, you are right to ask because if you didn't, I was going to.
Well, I've got someone else that's, I guess, in the same vein. Like they're trending, but I don't think it's as obvious.
Yeah.
Quinshon Judkins.
No. It was 29%, then to 44%. So it's almost the exact same trajectory. I was ready to get yelled at about this one too.
Wait, I'm happy with that.
Okay. He's out as well. Ba-boom, 2 ba-boom, straight out of the gate. But Brendan, this is part of the strategy. Sometimes you just have to put up a player.
That's right.
To get through, advantage you.
I'm going to change positions on this one.
I bet.
It's
no running backs left.
It's an interesting one because I was kind of against this guy in the preseason, and I feel like he's kind of quietly gone about his business without anyone really noticing. He's been in an offense that I don't think anyone expected to be this quality, and he's just getting all the targets. And the guy that I think everyone thought was going to be the wide receiver 1 hasn't been. I'm going to take Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman. I was mouthing that into the screen.
I don't know. He's getting all the targets. Like he just seems to be the most like trusted target outside, I guess, Tyler Warren. In the passing game, and I think we all kind of wanted to, give Josh Downs this role, but I think Michael Pittman's just clearly been the wide receiver 1. So, yeah, I just feel like he's still only 42, and he's kind of hovering a little bit, sort of like that 33 to 42. I just feel like he's still not being trusted by everyone that has him, but I kind of feel like he still fits this segment.
He does. I think in a way that Judkins and Scatterbo, I don't know that that's helping anyone putting them in a team like this, but I do think saying Pittman is someone who is going to float towards that 50 range and may not accelerate past it. This is the stage to say, I've got confidence in a guy like that. And he was on my list. He was the first person I was going to bring up after those two running backs for the same reason, because, man, all of a sudden there's this volume and he's healthy. Do you remember the last time he was healthy, Tay?
No, like it sounded like he was like going to have like a back injury that might have threatened his career last year. Like it was actually kind of scary, and it was weird how he's still playing through it, but it felt like he shouldn't have been. It was just a super weird year last year, but obviously the Daniel Jones-led Colts are looking very different this year.
100%. Oh my gosh, isn't it funny how Daniel Jones looks like he was going to get Brian Daboll fired while he was at the Giants? Now it looks like he's going to get Brian Daboll fired when he's not at the Giants because he's playing extraordinarily well the second he got out of that place. So it's just kind of funny that the same guy might be getting the same guy fired two different ways. By the way, jonesing for Jones to do so well. It's really kind of cool to see him doing this and creating some offense. He's moving that ball. Puts Matty C on the clock, and there's really only one other player I wanted to get a ruling on, and it's also a quarterback who's got a trajectory that puts him around that 50%, but starting from around 50% anyway, was Jordan Love at Dallas. He was 48% at waivers. Immediately after waivers had run, he'd been moved into 49% of lineups. Willing to be shouted down if we think that he's not eligible.
I had him written down as well, and it would have been the question that I asked. I kind of don't really see it much different. Obviously, like if he hit, it's just funny because if he hit 50, I guess we would have had to have said no technically to the rules. But because he's sitting there at 49, and it's just, I don't know, he's just kind of trickle. He's kind of one of these guys. Like it's specifically because of his matchup that I think he feels easy to start, but I don't think that's what the segment's about. It's more about like iffy guys that you're trying to target for good matchups.
I'll scrub him if you don't think it's helpful, because that's the idea. Is like we're into starting iffy guys.
I'm actually fine with it. Like, because I would ask the question, and I don't really see much difference between him and Drake May. Like, I feel like they're kind of in the same situation.
Okay.
I think it's a great matchup, and I would have asked the same question, so I've got no problem with it.
Okay. Now, so Jordan Love it is. And for the reasons that we all know, Dallas's defense is a bucket of screaming arseholes. He's currently started pretty much on the line, so we'll see how he goes. The other thing about that Dallas defense, though, is they also can't stop the run, so maybe it'll be a Josh Jacobs 17 touchdown day, and Jordan Love will end up just kneeling on the ball just to get the game to finish. At the same time now, I'm going to come back and pick up a tight end. And I'm going to do this because I think, the trajectory for a guy like Dalton Kincaid, I thought might have been getting out of hand. He started at 34. He was immediately at 41 as soon as waivers ran. I thought he may leave the segment. But it was just encouraging to see Philadelphia passing the ball and doing it with some effectiveness. I know Dallas Goedert didn't have a lot of targets. He's 1 week back from an injury that saw him ruled out, and I was going to go ahead and try and sew up Dallas Goedert, who's currently started in 24% of leagues. And I didn't know that I would get too much pushback on that one.
Go for it.
Thumbs up.
Done and done. Dallas Goedert, welcome to the team. So they're up against Tampa Bay, who've clearly got a couple of defensive woes that sort of keep them playing last-second games. They're 3-0, but they're all results that have only been solved in the last 2 minutes of games and no more dramatically than last week. So I feel like that will continue to be a contest. So that's me done. I've got Jordan Love and Dallas Goedert before we head back to Tay with Michael Pittman in the bag.
I was kind of like you, Matty C, and I guess because obviously those ones that got ruled out, which I kind of expected to anyway, it kind of changed some of the depth, I guess. I think I'm going to go to running back, and I'm just trying to think.
I think running back, they're all the same now. Like with those two who were shooting, I think the rest of them are just bleh.
That's the problem, I guess, is like it doesn't feel like there is kind of a clear one, but I kind of agreed with what Brendo was saying with the situation, but it's like, does he get enough volume to get there? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take Trey Benson. It's question mark. He's at 26% now. He is trending up. People will start him, but I don't know. I
think he qualifies.
He qualifies, but it is probably because it is iffy. Like, but it's just whether he gets the volume that you'd want. Like, I don't expect him to get a full Connor role, but it's like if he gets 70%, I still think he can be involved. Yeah, I'm willing to take that risk because I do think it's a bit thin at this position anyway.
You don't mind seeing him do that, though, Brenda, because you are pretty sure that he's going to be second best runner in that team behind.
That's right.
Oh, well, shit.
Yes, correct. Yes. No, I think it's going to be it's going to be a huge committee type day to figure it out and get it done. But
okay, so for two reasons we like that. He qualifies, and also we both think he's not a great pick taste. So
correct.
Lovely.
Perfect.
So wait for him to put up a 35-point day. We now move to Brendo. You got two picks in a row here. You've got Drake May in your pocket. It's Carolina. 48% started. We're pretty happy with that. You've got pretty well everything else at your disposal. The running back, wide receiver, or tight end. You get two opportunities here. So even if you want to double down at a position and start one as your flex as well, you've got that on offer.
I think I'm going to throw out there Jalen Waddle. I know he's at 45% at the moment.
That's fine. Yeah, I've got an option.
He has not really moved from last week. He was 44% on his way down when I mentioned him last week. He scored 15 points. Now he's at 45% after bottoming out at 38. So I feel like that is the perfect candidate.
It still doesn't seem trustworthy. Like, I was even watching him in that game. He didn't have a target until that touchdown in the end of the second quarter. It was like, I was looking at going, man, Matty.
It's an ugly way.
Yeah, I still don't trust it. Like, I was watching that game going, to me, Tyreek Hill's still far better than Waddle. The name value just seems like you're getting a steal in this segment still, though it's weird, but he still fits because it's just so dodgy week to week.
And it's going to be such a blockbuster of a game. The Jets and the Dolphins. It's going to be, the Jets won't fire their coach because he's a new coach, but I think
in 6 minutes, you can't fire him.
That's right. So, but
he hasn't found his office yet. You can't fire a guy who hasn't found his office.
If the Dolphins lose, it's time to start firing somebody.
I actually think Michael McDaniels is losing his mind, by the way.
Yeah.
I do think they're going to move the ball in the Jets in that game, though. I've actually I've actually picked up Tua and Astro, and I'm playing him over Dak this week.
Yeah.
I actually think that's a very good matchup for them, and I actually liked what I saw out of them against the Bills. So, yeah, I think there's a chance for positive regression this week for them.
Okay, and then I guess on my got the flop. So I'll do a flop to go with tight end Zach Ertz to sort of just not flashy, but just Mr. Consistency at the moment. Sort of at that, just sort of 5 catches, 50 yards, 10-point type tight end performance.
Should have had a Gitashian guarantee last week. Didn't get there.
Yeah. Wanker. But still managed some points, and I think sometimes you're looking for the home run. And other times you're just looking for a floor. And I think Ertz is your, really prototypical floor kind of guy. They play against Atlanta, who got, kind of hardly embarrassed last week. So you'd like to think that they will turn up. But weirdly, their fantasy defense is still good against every position. Apparently, they're still like a top 10 against just everyone, even in the face of a 30-0 loss. So I'd be really happy to beat up against a team with just a 30-point loss as well. So I kind of like where you're going. Yeah,
and I think Washington still. I think for a lot of the preseason hype over Washington coming in and was going to take over and be the next team on the rise. I think they're still waiting for that statement game this year to sort of get them back into that sort of conversation because they're still definitely looking up to Philly at the moment.
In that division, yeah. I mean, that game on the weekend got out of hand. They clearly won that game, and they did with Mariota, of all people.
Yeah.
With a rushing touchdown, almost had 2. But yeah, I mean, it sort of shows there's enough bricks and mortar in that franchise for the team to be okay. Losing McLaurin as that game wore out was a bit concerning as well. So we're still not 100% certain if he's going to go or not. He's had a questionable tag all week, and that would clearly impact Ertz's, role if McLaurin were to be questionable coming into the game and or limited on the field or trotted out as a decoy or not there at all. So it's kind of a wise play in that respect. Tay, this brings you up. You've got Trey Benson and Michael Pittman. Where are you going?
Yes, again, with the whole flex idea, like you think that a position you don't need to take because the other two have taken them, but technically they can still take another one. Like right now, tight end technically looks like I don't need to take one, but you never know. Someone might decide to flex a tight end. So it is an interesting situation.
You definitely don't have any pressure to take the quarterback because I can't take one.
I've got a couple of considerations here. It's basically, do I take someone I've got written down in a position that I don't have super upside for? I just think they're going to have a fine game, and sometimes in this segment you're kind of just happy to lock down 10. Just
like Ertz.
But it's like, do I want to take now a real upside shot that I think could be like one of these ones where it's 0 or 15, but I take them now so they're not my captain? And I go elsewhere for that captaincy.
I've been toying with this idea for the last 3 days, Dave.
I'm going to do it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's put a caution to him, Matty C. I feel like he's going in the right direction. He's only 13% started. Is anyone saying K-pop Demon Hunters?
About 15 times, yeah.
I'm gonna be golden. Whoa, I'm not fighting. I'm not shy.
Fighting like I ought to be.
Matthew Golden, baby. I've got a feeling. I just feel like against this Dallas Cowboys team. I've got 3 fucking receivers. I don't mean to give away anything from that exact same team, but I'm like, you know what? I feel like the upsides with the first round pick, and he equally led the team in targets last week with 4. I know it got shared around because it always fucking does at Green Bay, but I don't know. I just feel like he's trending in the right direction as a first round pick, and I'm going to take the shot on that game. I just think there's a chance that he, like I said, there's a chance he fucking gooses, but I feel like there's a chance he has a massive play.
I'm actually a little impressed about the K-pop Demon Hunters thing, Dave.
Thank you. I feel like that was half the reason I did it. I was like, I just wanted to say it.
So I've got a 12-year-old daughter, and she and I have watched that movie quite a lot of times together. And then also I've got a colleague who sits across from me who's, is into the movie as well, and has kind of caught me humming some of these songs. Is like, this movie. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I've kind of been outed a few ways about this, but I'm very impressed. And it makes me kind of wonder, where do you get exposure to this movie?
Oh, my kids, mate, they've watched it. My youngest, my 5-year-old, knows the entire dance to Your Idol. Like, he even gets a hat out and fucking does it. Like, Avery, my eldest, and my 7-year-old, like, they are just doing every dance to that movie. Like, that thing is like kid crack. Like, they absolutely cannot get enough of that thing.
Yeah, well, there you go. This is exactly where it's come from for me. I've got a derpy cat around my house. We've got the... We've got the light sticks, you name it. It's quite a thing. Mate, I'm going to kick the references and start looking. I've got a wide receiver, a running back, and a flex yet to fill. And this is kind of on purpose to kind of leave these ones a bit bare because I just felt like running back options were so this week that I didn't really need to prioritize it, and I'm probably not going to prioritize it. And it kind of led me to, well, what do I do? Do I then immediately go and just try and like double bag a position and then just come back and just take last points and just double up on someone who I think is safe? But I feel like I'm too far behind in the segment. I really can't do that. I need to be playing with the chin out and being a bit ballsy. I'm going to take my wide receiver, and I saw this week Quentin Johnson had gone from like 29 to 46. So I'm pretty happy to rule him out.
Yep.
And the only other guys in that range were Pittman and Waddle. So I'm like, okay, everyone else from here is an upside shot like nobody's business. And that's where Matty Golden kind of fitted in. And it's like, well, okay, so the next guy who I think is a really worthwhile shot at wide receiver is Rashid Shaheed at Buffalo. Did anyone else kind of wander across him and go, I wonder? I don't want to make him a captain because, as you said, Tay, kind of iffy about whether I'd want to double up 4 points because I've done that a few times this year. He's the kind of guy who could, though, blow up and go and throw up a 21 because he has, 5 catches, a touchdown, and 110 yards. So I'm like, okay, well, that's worth having a punt on. So I'm going to go and throw Rashid Shaheed in. He's currently started 16% of leagues.
Yep, no problem there. He's actually weird. Like he's always been known as the big play guy, but he's kind of been a little bit more consistent than people realize the last couple of years. Like nothing that like makes people like consistently play him, but I don't know. I think he's a better receiver than people give him credit for.
Yeah, I've kind of got someone who I think is just going to be a little bit more rock, steady, who I want to come back to if they're going to be around. And this is the game I'm playing. This person who started in not very many leagues. This is my last chance at the wraparound here because then it runs back to through you and then to Brendan before we do the captain round. And it's time for running back. I've been putting this one off. And I have very little faith in the guy. But, man, if you're ever going to do it, you're going to do it against Cincinnati, right? I'm going to go and put in a guy we talked about. You could probably drop him, but I'm just wondering if this is the 1 week we might actually get a little bit of life out of RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and throw him in as my running back. I've got 0 shares of this guy across 25 leagues. I just think this is the week where he might do something, so I'm going to go and throw him in.
Yep, no problem with that, mate.
Starting 17%, and it throws it back to you, Tay.
All right, well, that leaves me, I've got no choice. I'm going quarterback because I need to lock that up for my captaincy. So I'm going to take Caleb against the Raiders at 41%, I believe he's at.
Yeah, he was 41, then to 44, and I think he is trickling. So I'm comfortable with Caleb. You, Brendan?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about him as well. I think that's solid position, solid pick for this one.
Not as confident. It's weird, right? Like, and this proves how bad the Cowboys are, really. I'm less confident this week than I was last week, even though we've seen the breakouts, but just purely because of matchup. But like, it's not like I'm scared of the Raiders. Like, I don't think they're a great defense either. But it's just the Cowboys just feel like a locked in, loaded like piece of shit every week. Like, whereas at least the Raiders, like, I think can be risky. So it's like, it's not as like. It's like I said, it's weird that I'm less confident in Caleb this week, even though he had a great game. It's just purely the matchup. But
I think having Crosby on that line still makes it a little bit scary for
It's the only scary thing, though, isn't it?
It is, but it's like Caleb proved last year. I know they're trying to get it all out of his system, but he does hold the ball for an eternity. So you don't need that long to you don't need to have that many coming through because eventually one's going to get through.
Yeah, this is the benefit of the Cowboys line last week is that he could hold it for 14 seconds. That's no one was coming, whatever. It's a nice pick. Caleb Williams, 44% versus the Raiders, who've they're on the bottom half, the middling end of fantasy defenses against quarterback this year, and have historically not been the most terrifying. All right, so Brendan, you've got a decision to make. You can either go with your running back now and then come back for the next round. It'll come back to me after this pick, and take your 5th round player as your flex. Or you could take your flex now, and then it just means your running back's going to be captain. So you've got a decision to make, and you don't get the immediate wraparound. You're going to have a little bit of time to marinate.
I'm going to go with for the last pick before the flex. I'm going to go with a running back, and I'm going to go with a U of A boy. shout out to the family. My family went to University of Arizona. So I've been to a few U of A games, so I'm going to go with Krosky Merritt. Oh, that's probably that. Just as a running back for that.
Has it been taken every week in this segment? I feel like yes.
Yeah. Every single week. This is the fourth straight week.
I think,
and has been heavily favoured by our guest spot. The world has taken Krosky Merritt pretty well every time, I think.
Yep.
I think it's just coming. It's obviously they've the Eckler injury is now a week removed, but they've settling down in that room, and it seems to be that they've obviously seen something in him because they got rid of Robinson Jr. without having to. He was obviously still on a rookie deal, so they didn't have to ship him out. They could have kept him around and have him be a bit of sour grapes on the bench every once in a while. But yeah, they obviously saw something in him. So hopefully, week 4, it's time to hopefully get the wheels going.
What's funny is that you talk to people and people are really in on him. He still only started in 31% of leagues. It's just so funny. People have so many nice things to say about him, but then when push comes to shove, people are just reticent about putting him in the lineup. He even got a touchdown last week. It's 2 out of 3 weeks he's had a touchdown. But he's playing against Atlanta, who've last week was kind of weird, but they're still top 10 defense against every position. It'll be kind of cool to see if Bill can keep up the run, because he's proven to be a worthwhile fantasy asset. And your team at the moment looks like Drake May, Bill Krosky, and then Waddle and Ertz. We're going to come back and get your captain in the last pick of this next round. Tay, coming into the last round, you've actually got 2 wide receivers, and you're going to be captaining your tight end. Can't wait for that pick. You've got Caleb Williams, Trey Benson, Michael Pittman, and then already got your flex with Matthew Golden. If you want to break in a song, go hard.
We're gonna be golden. Oh.
Yeah, there it is. There, I knew you would do it. This is like when I told my brother, "Hey, can you give me the best dolphin sound?" And he just did it. I love the power of suggestion on this show. That was the best, by the way. And I love my brother, but he will never listen to the show except for the episodes he was on, so I can pay him out all I like. I've got Jordan Love, RJ Harvey, Rashid Shaheed, and Dallas Goddard. I get to start the captaincy round, and I'm going to go into tight end because, mate, to me, this is the position of depth this week of uncertainty, and I'm going to go and take my breakout candidate, Brenton Strange, at San Francisco, and I'm going to double tight end this baby.
I can't believe 2 of us are doing that. Looks like
and I picked the right. I didn't pick Ethan Strange like I did on Friday. That's where we're up to, Tay. You started in 11% of leagues. Which tight end are you taking as your captain?
Well, I mean, I'm taking my breakout as well. I'm taking Hunter Henry.
He's currently started 21% of leagues against the horrible Carolina Panthers.
Everyone's going to laugh at us.
My God.
I was toying with, like, when I was doing that golden pick, I'm like, I realize what I'm doing here. I'm locking myself in a tight end of fucking captain. But you know what? I really like the utilization of Hunter Henry at the moment. I think he's safe.
I guess that's exactly what led me to Strange. So it's the same thing. Position of rarity, because tight end is generally kind of seen as just like barren wasteland. But all of a sudden, there's a healthy middle of tight end. And all it takes is a touchdown as well. So here we are. Between you and I, Tay, we've got 3 tight ends. That means you're far less of a psycho than me, who's got 2 of them. I'm not ruling Brendan out from taking a tight end as well, mate. You've got May, Bill, Waddle, Ertz. You can pick anybody left who's not a quarterback who's started in less than 50% of leagues. That is a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, I'm going to put sort of eggs in one basket. Well, not really, actually. Sorry. I'm going to go with the Trayvon Henderson, just as because I just feel like that this is his week. Obviously, the other 2 can't hold the ball, so he should get first shot at the running back carries. So hopefully he can then punch it in and take advantage of that. And then but it could turn out to be he could just be a New England running back, and maybe none of them can hold on to the ball. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think. Yeah, and as we sort of mentioned earlier on Friday's show, the whole part about how there's just no one in that receiver room that really wants to step up and take it. So that's why Henry's a good option at tight end. But I think, Henderson now the backfield, a little dump off for 70 yards is still 70 yards.
And you get the extra point for the catch. You've heavily invested in a couple of games here too. You've got May and Henderson against Carolina. You've also got Bill, Krosky, Merritt, and Ertz against Atlanta. So heavily investing in 2 games. You've just sort of seen there's value to be had. And I like that you're leading people to that, because that's essentially what the segment is trying to guide people to where they can have faith in players that aren't widely started. And then, of course, in the middle, you've got Waddle against the New York Jets, who, the Jets are... They're on the scale of bad to pass. I think New York are right on the pass end of defending fantasy wide receivers. So your team heavily invested in 2 games, but man, it's hard to argue with any of the picks. So I'm really impressed with the way you took to this. And I'm hoping you just have a better outcome than last time around. You had a bit of a rough outing the first time you had a crack at the starts of the week, Caper. Changed the rules since you were here last, but man, I like the way you've adapted.
Well, I'd say, I guess that's thank you. I'm just a bit shocked, I guess, by the kindness that's coming out of it. But had to take put me on the back step. But I'm really hopeful that I'm really excited though for the Niners to step up and hopefully give you a nice goose egg towards that tight end position for you, which would be a nice double up.
You're not going to get seething hate out of me. I like it too much. I like that you're trying to get it. You're just poking and hoping that I'll be like...
Well, to be fair, his captain lives in Canberra, so I think there's a good chance he's getting a goose egg.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Mate, the team for you, Taylor, has Caleb Williams, Trey Benson, Michael Pittman, Hunter Henry, and Matthew Golden. I won't make you sing it again because you've already belted it out a few times with your beautiful dulcet tones. But, mate, how are you feeling about your lineup?
Whoa, I'm not hiding. I'm not shining like I was born to be.
Yeah.
I just did it anyway. Mate, pretty happy with it. Obviously, generally, captaining the tight end doesn't exactly fill you with a lot of glee, but I'm like, you know what? I've gone golden for the upside shot. I'll take the, the middling ground with my captain and even it out a little bit.
Yeah, you see, and you've gone the upside shot with your captain. I've gone the other way. I feel like Strange because of I feel like he's up for a good week no matter what. To me, he's kind of like a safer bet because I'm like, well, he could be a breakout candidate. So it's like a poor performance for me will still be middling, and that will hopefully give me a little bit of insulation. So I've got Goddard, Shaheed, RJ, Harvey, and Jordan Love are the rest of my team. Guys, that's it for starts of the week. And we've already been through the mailbag. Earlier in the week, we went through all the great segments that we usually do, including the breakouts. We put everybody through the tipping point, which is only the show that is grabbing the nation by its heartstrings and pulling people in. And then we put Brendan through the second iteration of 5 questions. And he has emerged without actually raising an apprehended violence order on us. So how about that, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting it anytime soon.
We were not expecting that. I was expecting you to be telling law enforcement somewhere on a dole where he felt like he'd been violated by us too from that segment. So we're grateful for having Brendan on. Mate, it's been a long time since we had the benefit of having you on the show. It was sort of the midpoint of last year and maybe you're first through right in the early part of the year. How do you feel like you straddled the starts of the week this time round?
I guess it is something that is sort of out of someone like myself's comfort zone, the whole type thing. So it's been sort of warming up into it. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's when you sort of say sort of all jokes aside, it's it's a great opportunity to sort of do something and talk to people and chat to find people with like-minded that enjoy something all together. So it's great to be able to reach out and do that, and it makes it feels pretty good. And then I also throw it in. I like to throw it in when I have talked to people, new fantasy players. What do you think? Well, you should take my advice because I have been on a podcast a number of times.
Yes,
so
you have.
Therefore, yeah. So I have used that a couple of times. But no, I have a great time doing it, and yeah, it's a blast. That's
it. Build the credentials, even if it's through this show. Tay, you've been building your credentials through this show. You've been here for like 500 episodes, you poor soul. I don't want to see what your workers' comp's going to be like when you go for therapy after everything this show's done to you.
Yeah, I'm a decrepit old soul at this point, Matty C. But look, in the end, Brendon's just another fantastic guest that we've been having on between last year and this year. We're just so lucky, the people that we have in Australia, that not only just enjoy NFL fantasy, but that we're lucky to have in our lives that are joining the show. So I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's been on, but obviously a special thank you to Brendon for being on tonight. And, we talk shit. We're rivals in a lot of fantasy leagues, but in the end, I feel like we're all just, coming together with a common love, which is NFL in general, but obviously a lot of NFL fantasy as well. So, mate, it's honestly amazing to get to do this.
Well, you forgot the other common love that we have, Taylor, and that's telling Pete to go suck it and hope he loses and dies a horrible fantasy death.
Yeah, it goes
it, Pete.
But feel free to say it.
Thank you so much, Brendon, for joining us. I'm glad you had another dig at this starts of the week, Cape. You've been such a great resource for us too when we went through the mailbag, and it's great to get the breakouts. And I'm glad you survived Tipping Point. That's a bit of fun. And for those who didn't catch that on the Friday show, it's a pretty interactive segment. You can come and join us and play a game of Tipping Point. Guys, we're going to get out of here. Of course, catch the G'day Gridiron show from yesterday, which was, the guys do a great job previewing the 4 must-see games, plus they also previewed the Monday night game, so there are 6 games going to be on the slate for them in terms of previews. You also, if you're doing things right, have caught the NFL SuperCoach. Sometimes it's a halfer, sometimes it's a treble halfer, and mate, the SuperCoach NFL game is growing. We've got more than 30,000 people playing it across the country, and amazingly, we've got 300-plus people playing in the NFL SuperCoach HALFA Fantasy League. So come and find it. We'll give you the league code on that show. So come and find that in our feed here on the Aussie Gridiron Network. Brendon, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm glad you've had a really great time. And Tay, thank you for everything you bring to the show each week. We're going to get out of here, and we'll catch you all on the other side of week 4. Fingers crossed, no more injuries. Sing it with me, guys. No more injuries. And we'll see you all next week. Hooroo, fellas.
Gonna be golden. Thank you.
Up the Niners.
Up the Niners. Listen to it. See you, lads.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network, Australia's home for NFL and Australian gridiron content. Discover everything the network has to offer, including G'day Gridiron, Pastry Press, NFL, and Aussie Gridiron Today. Buy merch and win free stuff. Visit the mothership at linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. Hooroo!